I pulled into the driveway just as the sun was breaking over the trees. My truck engine hummed low, and the coffee in my thermos had already gone cold. I was tired, yeah, but I felt good. Today was supposed to be the start of something special. I'd spent the last 18 months planning this trip, a fishing weekend at Lake McConaughey in Nebraska. Not some generic vacation either. I'd picked out the cabins myself, prepaid for charter boats, even picked the perfect weekend so Amber's dad, Ron, could join us. It was supposed to be our first real family getaway in years. I reached for my phone to text Amber I was outside, but then I saw them. Ron and Mark, her brother, stepping out the front door with duffel bags slung over their shoulders. Full bags. Mark was even wearing a hoodie with a fishing hook logo on it. At first I thought maybe they were just helping load the car, but Ron gave me a casual wave, and Mark walked straight past me to the back of the SUV, popped the trunk, and started tossing his bag in. "What's going on here?" I said, trying to keep my voice even, though my stomach had already dropped. Amber stepped out behind them, like she'd been expecting this all along. She had her sunglasses on, her big weekend tote bag over one shoulder. "Jake," she said, walking up to the passenger side, "listen, you've been working non-stop, and we just thought maybe Mark could use this trip more." I blinked at her, then looked at Mark and Ron. "Wait, what? Quick note, before we start, how's your day going and where are you joining from?" Amber gave me that soft smile she uses when she's brushing something off. "He's been going through a lot lately. He needs a break. You can take some time to rest too. It's fine." Really, I just stared at her. This was the trip I saved for. I skipped birthday gifts. I canceled my gym membership. I sold my damn kayak last summer so I could pay for that damn deposit. Mark didn't even look at me, just patted the roof of the car and said, "Appreciate it, man. You're the best for understanding." Understanding? I clenched my jaw. Ron avoided eye contact, standing stiff like some background prop. Not one of them looked uncomfortable. Not one. My hands were shaking, but I kept my voice level. "No problem," I said, popping the hatch and tossing the rest of their bags in. "Have a good time." Amber kissed my cheek like she was heading out for groceries. "Thanks, babe. We'll send pics." I watched them pile into the car I was about to drive, to a weekend I planned, and felt something snap inside me. They didn't just cut me out. They replaced me. I backed out of the driveway without saying a word. Amber was in the passenger seat, flipping through something on her phone, her sunglasses still on, like she didn't want to deal with the daylight. Or maybe me. Mark sat in the back, earbuds in, tapping at his screen like this was just another Thursday. The car was dead quiet except for the low hum of the road. Amber started humming softly, some song from the radio, her head tilted back like she was on vacation already. I gripped the wheel tighter. My knuckles were white. I could feel the heat building behind my eyes, but I didn't say a damn thing. Mark finally spoke. Didn't even look up. "Thanks for the ride, man." Just like that. Like I was their Uber driver. "Sure," I muttered, eyes locked on the road. Amber cleared her throat and tried to fill the silence like she always does when things get awkward. "Oh, I saw this new fishing app we could try. It tracks hotspots near the lake," she said, all fake casual, like we were still going together. "Yeah, great," I said flatly, not even glancing her way. She looked at me sideways for a second, like maybe she was starting to catch on, but then just went back to scrolling through her phone. No apology, no real explanation, just distance. Mark pulled out an earbud. "Hey, Amber, did you hear about that new bar down by the water? Supposed to have live music and good drinks. We'll have to check it out." Amber smiled, leaned her head back again. "Oh, that sounds perfect. I could definitely use that." I stared straight ahead, my grip on the wheel tightening with every mile. I was invisible. They were already living the trip I had dreamed up, without me. The airport signs showed up faster than I expected. I pulled into the drop-off lane and popped the trunk. Amber got out, stretched like she'd been through something difficult. Mark took his time grabbing the bags. Amber gave me this quick, half-hearted hug. No emotion, just skin and air. "Thanks for understanding, Jake." "Really? Sure," I said again. That word tasted like blood this time. She pulled back, adjusted her sunglasses, and turned away. I stood by the open trunk as they rolled their suitcases toward the terminal, all smiles and small talk. Mark laughed at something Ron said. Amber was already texting, and just like that, they were gone. Off to the weekend I bled for. I got in the car, sat in silence, and stared at the windshield. I walked through the front door and tossed my keys on the kitchen counter. The silence hit me like a wall. No voices, no footsteps, no TV murmuring in the background. Just dead air and a hollow echo. The living room was still a mess from packing. Brochures were spread across the coffee table, along with the printed itinerary I'd put together with color-coded highlights. A stack of fishing licenses sat in a folder next to the laptop. I stared at it all, barely breathing. They didn't care, not one bit. I dropped onto the couch and stared at the pile for a few seconds longer. I didn't even think about it. My hands moved before my brain caught up. I grabbed the laptop and flipped it open. The reservation emails were already pulled up from earlier that morning. One by one, I clicked through the tabs: the resort confirmation, the fishing charter, the rental van, cancel, refund, cancel. Each time I hit the button, my chest got tighter, but not in a bad way. It was like pressure releasing, like I was cutting a rope that had been pulling me underwater for too long. My hand hovered over the flights. Canceling would cut them off for real. I left them. I leaned back on the couch, staring at the screen. The confirmation emails started rolling in. That's when my phone buzzed. Amber. I watched the screen light up and go dark. Then it buzzed again. She was probably standing in the security line, phone pressed to her ear, pretending to be confused, trying to check in with me like this wasn't her circus. It buzzed again. I didn't answer. For once, I didn't feel bad about it either. I set the phone face down on the table and folded my arms. I sat there, dead quiet, listening to the hum of the refrigerator and the faint sound of a lawnmower somewhere down the street. Then came the voicemails. I let them roll in one after another. The first one hit in less than a minute. "Jake, what did you do?" "I just got an email. The hotel says the reservation's gone." "What the hell did you do?" Her voice cracked at the end, right where she usually tries to keep it together. Panic, not remorse. Buzz. Another voicemail, then Ron. "Jake, listen, whatever this is, it's not funny. You've ruined everything. I don't care what your issue is. You better fix it. Call us back now." "Don't make me come back there," I scoffed. Classic Ron. He'd spent 30 years acting like the house alpha, and now he couldn't figure out why the sheepdog bit him. I hit play on the next one. "Seriously, Jake?" Mark, loud, bitter. "What the hell is wrong with you? You can't just cancel everything like this. We flew all the way out here, and now we're stuck with no place to stay. Call the hotel and fix it. Now fix it." That was the word that did it. All these years, all the money, all the weekends I gave up, the favors I pulled, the extra hours I worked, and it always came down to me fixing everything while they coasted along like it was owed to them. I let out a low, dry laugh, not even a real one, just a tired exhale with a bitter edge. Then I deleted the voicemails, one by one. Amber, Ron, Mark, gone. No way I was giving them the satisfaction of an answer. They'd made their call when they rolled out of that house this morning without me. Now they could deal with the fallout. The phone lit up again, Amber this time. I almost let it go to voicemail like the others, but something in me snapped. I wanted to hear it. I wanted to hear exactly how far she'd go before she realized she was the one who crossed the line. I answered. Her voice came through immediately, tight and panicked. "Jake, why would you do this?" "We can't get into any of the hotels you booked. Every single place said the reservation's been canceled. We're stranded here." I didn't say a word, just let her go. She kept talking, voice climbing higher, rushing every sentence like she was racing against her own guilt. "We've been calling for hours. Nobody has availability. We're stuck in the lobby with our luggage and no idea what to do. Why would you do this to us?" I waited a beat, then finally spoke, slow and cold. "You really thought I was going to pay for a trip I wasn't even invited to?" That shut her up for a second. Then her voice cracked, defensive now, trying to spin it. "Jake, you knew Mark needed this. He's been dealing with so much. We couldn't afford this on our own, and you offered it months ago. You knew—" "No," I cut in. "You couldn't afford it without me. But guess what? I'm not bailing you out anymore." There was a pause. I could almost hear her trying to figure out which version of me she was dealing with. The old Jake who would eat it and keep quiet, or the one sitting here now, finally done playing dumb. Her tone shifted, lower, cautious. "You're punishing the whole family over one mistake. Is that really fair?" And that was it. That word again. "Fair?" I said, my voice getting louder. Let's talk about fair. You took my trip, the one I planned, the one I paid for, and handed it over to your brother like I was some spare wheel. You didn't even ask me. You didn't even think about me. You put me aside like I didn't matter, Jake. No, I snapped. You don't get to Jake your way out of this. You made your choice. You chose Mark. You chose your dad. You all acted like this weekend was your right, and I was just the driver. So yeah, I canceled it. And if you didn't see that coming, maybe you haven't been paying attention. There was a sharp silence. I could hear her breathing, fast and shallow, like she wanted to say something, but couldn't find the words. Then, click. She hung up. I set the phone down after she hung up and didn't touch it for 3 days. It buzzed, it rang, it lit up with texts. Amber, Ron, even Mark again. I didn't read a single one. Instead, I mowed the lawn, cleaned out the garage, hit the gym for the first time in months. Every hour I wasn't answering that phone felt like a win. Every chore I checked off was one more reminder. I was still here. Still standing. I cooked real meals. I sat on the back porch and drank my coffee slow. I opened my laptop and caught up on invoices for the shop. I even fixed the squeaky hinge on the front door that had been driving me nuts for a year. It was the kind of silence I hadn't had in forever, and I didn't miss the noise. By Monday, something felt different. I looked in the mirror and didn't see that beatdown guy anymore, the one always trying to keep everyone else happy while choking on his own resentment. I was lighter, still pissed, sure, but something in me had started to let go. That's when Grace called. Her name lit up on the screen, and this time I answered. Jake, she said, her voice calm but sharp like always. I heard about the vacation mess. Yeah, I said, letting out a small laugh. That's one word for it. I don't know the whole story, but I'll tell you this. You did the right thing. I leaned back on the couch, letting her words sink in. They needed a wake-up call, she went on. You've been carrying that whole family for years, and they don't even see it. Maybe now they will. I didn't say anything right away. My throat felt tight. Not from anger this time, something else. Relief, maybe. They can figure it out on their own, she added. You've done enough. I pulled into Amber's parents' driveway and cut the engine. The house looked the same as always, neat lawn, cheap flag flapping on the porch. But it felt different now, like I was stepping into enemy territory. They were waiting in the living room when I walked in. Amber sat on the couch, arms folded tight across her chest. Ron leaned against the fireplace, looking stiff and rehearsed. Mark was sprawled in the armchair like he owned the place, scrolling on his phone until I came through the door. Nobody offered a smile or a seat. Ron was the first to talk. Look, Jake, we know we messed up, but you didn't have to cancel everything. That was a bit extreme. I stood by the doorway, didn't bother sitting down. Extreme? You didn't think it was extreme when you cut me out of the trip I planned and paid for? Amber sat forward, trying to sound soft, like she could talk me off a ledge. We didn't mean to hurt you, Jake. It's just, we thought Mark really needed the break. You've been stressed and I didn't? I snapped. Funny how that works, huh? Everyone's always thinking for me. No one ever actually asks. Mark rolled his eyes and tossed his phone on the table. Man, you're so dramatic. It's just money. Get over it. I looked at him and laughed. You think this was about money? You're lucky I didn't cancel your damn flights. Amber reached out a hand, her voice rising. Jake, come on. Let's not blow this up more than it already is. I raised my hand. No, she blinked. Quiet. I'm not here to fix it. I'm not here to smooth it over or hear some weak half apology so we can all pretend it never happened. I've done that for years. I'm done, Amber stood up now. So what? You're just walking away? You're giving up? I looked around the room, at the people who used me, leaned on me, replaced me, and felt nothing. No, I said. I'm finally standing up. Then I turned and walked out. Amber called my name once behind me, but I didn't turn around. Ron didn't say a word. Mark muttered something under his breath, but I didn't care enough to hear it.